red lights because on go.
Yeah. Searching for something in your possession. Pick up a pen and write down your vision. Nothing's a match for that fire that lives in you. Soon it will break you through. We are our escape. Gravity can wait. My people, I'm speaking to you. Join me on this wave. Time to change these vibes. As strong as you and I. Embracing our new heights, cause we were all meant to fly. Kanye, yeah, let's might not sound familiar. Zoom out to big picture, yeah, let to go higher. Kanye, yeah, let's might not sound familiar. Zoom out to big picture, yeah, let to go higher. Gonna fade away. Talk is the same on the surface, so we gotta go deeper to change our future. Oh, rise, you must rise. The streets are the way, bring power to your name. Claim your space, the road's getting steeper. Claim our future. Claim our future, yeah, yeah. Claim our future, claim our future, yeah. Thank you.
Wow, what an awesome performance. Claiming our space, claiming our future. Thank you, Amit and Amaya, for your performance. I'm Jacob Smith, Regional Leader of the Global Youth Coalition for Road Safety, and I'll be your Master of Ceremony for today's event. Welcome to each of you from across the globe, to our road safety community, government officials, road safety sector, and the private sector. A special welcome to our close partners who made all of this possible. In collaboration with the World Health Organization, and a special thanks to Dr. Krug, one of the architects and supporters of us, the United Nations Special Envoy on Road Safety, Create 2030, and FIA Foundation. We are immensely grateful for our program partners of the Global Youth Coalition for Road Safety, Michelin Foundation, and Total Energies Foundation. You might wonder why this Stop Blaming Us and Start Engaging Us is behind me. We still hear around the world it's young people's own fault that they die on the road due to their high-risky behavior, and therefore we need to educate them. Also, within this new political declaration, it calls for especially educating young people. However, once again, we are not being recognized as stakeholders within this political declaration. We call for a paradigm shift. Stop blaming us for dying on the roads and start protecting us. We want to be engaged and co-create a safe and sustainable mobility system that protects us all. So be sure to follow us on all social media at Claiming Our Space, #ClaimingOurSpace, and let the world know what we've been discussing today. We are claiming our space on the streets and at the decision-making table. So to get the conversation started, we are so pleased to have welcoming introductions by Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, Director General at the World Health Organization. Please direct your attention to the screens, to your left and right.
Excellencies, dear colleagues and friends, I offer my sincere gratitude to the Youth for Road Safety Organization, aptly named yours, for sponsoring this event and for its steadfast dedication to road safety. YOLS was established with support from WHO following the 2007 World Youth Assembly. I'm proud of your many achievements to date. This work is more important than ever. Road traffic injuries are the leading killer of children and young adults. The mobility system we have inherited from previous generations is unsafe and unsustainable. The Global Plan for the Decade of Action for Road Safety 2021-2030 outlines concrete policies for developing safe and sustainable transport options. Young people must be part of this effort and have their voices heard in the policy-making processes that affect them. A message to youth leaders: keep claiming your space on the streets and at the decision-making table. We count on you to challenge the status quo, raise your demands, and be change makers in your communities. The WHO Youth Council is one of the ways that I hope young people can join the conversation. It's my pleasure to welcome yours into this growing network. Working together, we can build a safer, healthier, and more sustainable mobility future for all. I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tedros. As you mentioned, the Global Plan for the Decade of Action for Road Safety 2021 to 2030 has recognized youth as key stakeholders to achieve the reduction of road traffic deaths by 50% by 2030. We are committed to working with the World Health Organization on this important issue. To continue with more inspiring and wise words, I'd like to welcome to the stage our dear friend and road safety rock star of the Global Youth Coalition, Dr. Etienne Krug, Director of Social Determinants of the World Health Organization.
Thanks so much. What can I say? After that, I wish I had brought my kids here. They don't think I'm a rock star. It's true. You guys have inherited a dirty, unsafe, unsustainable transportation system. And you're blamed for it. You're blamed because you are dying on the roads. And of course this is unacceptable. So I'm really happy we are here today at yours initiative to discuss this unacceptable situation where children and young people are dying because they have to live with the system we, the not so young people, have developed for them. And it is time that changes. I'm convinced about that. I know we're not going to achieve a 50% reduction target without our young people. So it is only right that we have the slogan today, stop blaming us and start engaging us. Not only because you can be part of the solution in the narrow sense of, behaving better on the road, respecting the rules and all of that. No, because I think it is young people who will change our world. And we see it already on a daily basis. We're talking about the need for a modal shift to move away from a car-based transportation system in order to walk more and cycle more and use public transportation. Who's gonna do that? Not the old people like me. It is the young generation who is already starting to walk more and cycle more and use public transportation more. My own daughter doesn't want to have a driver's license. And it took me a long time to understand, why don't you want to have a driver's license? But now I do. Of course, it's not practical to have a car in a town. It costs a lot of money. You don't know what to do with it. And public transportation is increasingly better developed. So thank you for what you're doing. Thank you, yours. Every time I come to a yours event, I discover new yours staff, now a director for communication. I don't know. It's fantastic to see that this little tiny organization that started basically with Floor on his own is now flourishing in a way that goes well beyond my initial expectations. So thank you, Floor, also for everything you are doing personally for so many years. And thanks to all of the young people who believe in this cause and who are joining us and make a real difference. Have a great discussion. I look forward to it.
Makers in your communities.
Again, we are so grateful for your support, Dr. Krug, and great to see you again. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to now welcome Jayatma Wickremesinghe. She was appointed as a UN Secretary Envoy on Youth in 2017 at the age of 26. And since then, she has been expanding the UN's engagement and advocating for meaningful youth participation around the world. Please direct your attention to the screen.
Hello everyone, my name is Jayatma Wickremesinghe and I am the United Nations Secretary General's Envoy on Youth. Thank you very much to the organizers for having me here today. As we all know, road traffic crashes are one of the leading causes of death globally for young people among 15 to 29 years. Over 1,000 youth die every single day due to road traffic accidents. The numbers are clear and are undeniable. To ignore the impacts of road safety to young people's lives is to ignore young people's right to a safe and better future that all of them deserve. It's encouraging to see how young people are increasingly being recognized for their potential and contributions to the road safety agenda. The Global Plan of Action for Road Safety, launched in 2021, acknowledges young people as equal partners in this process. This should not come as a surprise. Young people have been rising up to global challenges with or without the world noticing. From delivering grassroots solutions to the climate crisis, serving as first responders to COVID-19, to building toolkits and recommendations for road safety, like all of you here have been doing in the past year, young people's efforts and resilience to bring positive impact to our world and for the Sustainable Development Goals further proves why youth is the best chance that our world can bet on. We are less than a decade away from delivering on the Sustainable Development Goals in time by 2030. Guidance and solutions led by young people are key to accelerate our efforts. That is why I'm particularly excited about this event today. I'm excited not only to learn more about your take as young change makers in advocating for global road safety, but I'm also excited to hear about your work and the Policymakers Toolkit that you have developed for meaningful youth participation in road safety and sustainable mobility. My office and I are committed to working with the UN family and its partners to continue our support to youth-led efforts, specifically through the implementation of the United Nations Youth Strategy, Youth 2030. Therefore, I'd like to applaud UN partners from the UN system, such as the Special Envoy on Road Safety and WHO, as well as the policymakers who are present today and who have been supporters and believers of the power of young people to lead change in this particular space. The second priority area of the UN Youth Strategy reflects the UN's goal to make sure that our system-wide work contributes to a healthy foundation for all youth. And the importance of road safety in this regard must be continued to be pushed forward to ensure that we can save thousands of young people's lives and give them the better and the brighter future that they deserve. It is my great hope that today will not only be an opportunity to further strengthen young people's role as equal partners in road safety issues, but I hope today will also open many more meaningful opportunities for young advocates such as yourselves to work together with policymakers, with leaders and institutional partners like the United Nations. With that, I'd like to conclude my remarks by congratulating you once more for this important event. I wish you a fruitful discussion and a successful event. Thank you.
for your remarks and congratulations on your recent launch of the Be Seen, Be Heard campaign, promoting youth participation and amplifying youth voices in public life. Now we will move on to the artistic portion of our event. Lisa Russell, art curator of Claiming Our Space Global Art Exhibition and Emmy Award-winning filmmaker, will lead the next portion. Before that, I'd like to introduce two youth performers, Classica from New York City and Samuka from Brazil.
A ideia de você ser reconhecido é uma ideia filosófica que atravessa o mundo desde o século XVIII.
Você se sente ouvido a partir do momento em que a pessoa consegue reproduzir o que você falou sem nenhuma inferência da história de vida dela. Então assim, você consegue repetir o que eu falei da forma com que eu falei? Porque assim, se você repetir com a sua inferência, com o que você acha, com a sua história de vida, não tem escuta ali.
Young, black, Brazilian man. I've been silent, I've been silenced, I've been unheard. Right now I speak directly to you, the audience. Understand, every single part of this film is honest, I promise. Every single part of this film is an invitation. Please join us. This is for youth power.
Eu acho que se conecta muito também com essa visão de mundo que a gente traz quando pensa na dança e nas danças da diáspora negra, que é esse lugar, né, do corpo sendo um lugar de memória ancestral. Para mim também, quanto mais eu me senti ouvida nesse sentido, mais eu me aproximei dessa memória e mais a minha dança, inclusive, foi muito mais próxima do que eu acredito hoje, assim.
Alguém mais velho, alguém mais jovem, também depende dele lembrar que já fui jovem.
Check it out.
O que é escutar? Eu acho que é você se despedir brevemente do que te compõe, da tua história, da forma com que você entende o mundo, deixa isso para depois e agora eu estou aberta para receber o seu mundo.
A gente sempre vai precisar do reconhecimento do outro para poder afirmar nossa própria existência. Na sociedade civil, a luta, ela passa de ser justamente por uma pessoa mais velha e começa a ser uma luta de reconhecimento através de políticas, seja política pública, seja política do cotidiano, seja qualquer forma de política. Porque, afinal, como dizia o bom e velho grego Aristóteles, o homem é um animal político.
The youth has its language and it might not always be clear. Acknowledging the strategies of intelligence is a must. Making sure that these young leaders get to live and to lead. That's all I ask. As a matter of fact, I plead. safety, for road safety, for black safety, for trans safety, that our art may still touch your heart. I believe in transformation. May you allow us to be seen, heard, and perceived generously as we be. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, give it up one more time for Classic and Samuka. Wonderful. So thank you so much for having us, and we're gonna have a little bit of a conversation from an artist's perspective. My name is Lisa Russell. I work as a filmmaker and a curator in the United Nations as a contracted creative professional, and I'm also the founder of Create 2030, which engages professional storytellers and artists in support of the SDGs. And I wanted to kick off this conversation, first of all, by congratulating yours for not only promoting meaningful youth participation in road safety, but also meaningful artist participation in road safety, because I believe that artists have a role and a place in this movement. And a lot of times we have challenges that have been similar to what young people have faced in this environment of feeling like we're, you know, a lot of our participation is tokenized, like you will see us dance, you'll see us sing, but are we really involved in the conversations and the planning or whatnot? The other, you know, thing that I would mention is that for those that don't follow really the artist movement, the creative economy, which is the term that is now the, you know, the big term, is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. And so by not engaging artists and youth artists, you are missing out on incredible allies who are not only, again, great entertainers, but we're also considered great creative thinkers and problem solvers. So why wouldn't you want us at a table sitting and helping creating policies around road safety and other sustainable development topics? So I just wanted, as the curator, I was the one that got to meet and work with all of our amazing 6 youth artists and really help them craft their artwork in a way that tells a powerful narrative. It wasn't just, let's pick an artist here, pick an artist. No, we were intentionally focused on ensuring that the artwork was both artistic and moves people. It can be emotional and bold and piece, you know, really, you know, creative. Doesn't necessarily follow a clear story. No? Is this on? Can you hear me? Great. You know, bringing their different art forms into this global art exhibit. And I wanted to just quickly talk about the curatorial process because it was a very unique experience. I've been curating artists at the UN for over 15 years, and this was the most engaged I have been involved in the planning and the development of the art aspect of the thing. And I just wanted to share that because, again, I want to recognize the great work and openness to think outside the box that yours and partners were willing to participate. So we not just picked these great 6 youth artists. We went through a call for artist participation. We asked them to share their work on whatever topics that they're interested in. Maybe it was climate change. Maybe road safety is new to them, but they still were really involved in conscious issues. We had what we called an arts residency. So for 2 days, we introduced these youth artists to different experts and young people doing great work around road safety so that they can consume sort of all the sort of messaging and the important, aspects of road safety. And we did it in the environment that artists are used to. We did workshops. We didn't ask them to come to a conference. We didn't ask them to read a report. We didn't ask them to kind of be in the policy space in the way policy and program experts are used to. We brought the policy and program experts into an arts gathering and arts, the way artists consume information and get inspired. So with that said, and we're around to talk to anybody else who's interested, I just want to now engage with Classic and Samuka, who are incredible, I mean, they're multi-dimensional artists. I can't even like put a title on it. And talk to you about, you know, the power of art and how you use your craft to, express and engage in the issues that you care about, and how you know, I think for you, some of you had mentioned that road safety was a relatively new topic for you. So what was your experience like engaging in a project such as this?
So it was like a opportunity to educate myself, both as a arts practitioner and as an individual. As a arts practitioner, I learned so much about the importance of storytelling in my work. That's always been present, but I believe that this was an opportunity to, like, this is a film debut. So although I'm a dancer, I now know I can choreograph films and experiences. As an individual, for me, is like, I wasn't aware of road safety being such a heavy issue on the world's youth, and understanding that gives me the opportunity to better position myself and be more well-rounded and have a more coherent positioning socially in relation to how I deal with the subject, you know. So it wasn't a priority to think about, but the residency was also an opportunity to engage with this and understand its importance, so yeah.
Hello everyone, Classic with the K. So for me, it was also an experience because I also wasn't aware as well the importance of road safety at first. And dealing with me in artistry, it's been like impactful to the community to be able to like express, you know, especially helping with artistry and storytelling. The idea of like artwork or curating has been like amazing to everyone, like every individual that has come up within the community of flexing or of dancing. And with road safety, it has opened my eyes to be able to expand myself to tell other stories, you know, in that way.
Fantastic. And I also want to just point out too that, you know, we're not here as like spokespeople for road safety. We actually are like constituents, because a lot of us have to be on the road to do our work. So musicians have to get on tour buses and travel. I work as a filmmaker, so I'm traveling all the time. You guys probably have different gigs in different parts of New York City or whatnot. So we are your allies, not just to get up and make films and sing songs and do poems or whatever, but this issue definitely affects the creative community. So, you know, we also want to point that out, that engage us, you know, as partners in this, because, you know, I live in Kenya right now. I'm in Mombasa, Kenya. I cannot tell you how big of an issue this is and how daily it's a concern of even me. And I'm privileged enough to not have to sit on the back of a bicycle to go everywhere, or motorbike to get anywhere I need to go to. I can afford the tuk-tuk, so I'm a little bit safer. But the reality is like it's a daily issue. And so I just want to, you know, engage that we as artists are here. And I feel like I'm talking too much, so I'm going to leave the last minute to Classic and to Samuka. Any last thoughts on how you're going to use this film maybe in Brazil?
Yeah, there are plans and invitations to show this film at local universities and local theaters, but also I wanted to acknowledge the presence of other young people that are not physically appearing in the movie, but the voices you hear are from Brenda Machado, Laremi Paixão, and Elias Jr. They are biomedic, philosopher and psychologist, both, all three of them under the age of 30, speaking on the importance of being heard. So all of the voices you heard are also from young people. And they're speaking in Portuguese because it's my local language, and I think it's important for, you know, for y'all to read my subtitles too, you know. So, é nóis, tamo junto, satisfação. Obrigado.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to thank you guys for all tuning into our artistry. You know, it's definitely appreciative that you take out the time to see what we do, and I've had a pleasure to work with Lisa Russell and Samuel. Especially visiting him in Brazil was also a reflection of like our style of dancing. I believe it's Natividad Urbano, his style that is like mixed styles with capoeira, some flexing, some crump, other styles, and my style of flexing as well. So I'm gonna use this opportunity just to show like a lot more youth empowerment and that anybody can do that as well.
Yeah, and I know that we need to wrap up, and I'll just say one last thing. Please go check out the exhibit, the Global Arts exhibit. It's in the corridor near the Vienna Cafe. If you can't make it there, all of the pieces, the 6 pieces, which are very powerful, are online. It's easy enough for you to just share it, post it. We're making it very, very easy for you. They will give you the URL for the exhibit, but please check it out. Please show some support for the artists. They've done really hard work over the last 6 months. We would love to, we'll be there, we'll be around later today as well, so happy to have you, and thank you again for coming, and give it up again for these amazing artists, and the ones who are about to bless the stage a little bit later. Thank you.
Thank you again for your powerful performance, and Lisa as well for your ongoing support of ensuring meaningful artistic expression throughout our Claiming Our Space campaign. So over the portion of this event, you will see an array of youth in their power poses. These poses illustrate youth from across the world who are claiming their space on the streets and also at the decision-making table, as part of our global campaign spearheaded by the Global Youth Coalition for Road Safety. So now on to the key portion of our side event, our intergenerational dialogue, moderated by Adnan Haider, Chair of the Your Supervisory Board and Senior Associate, Dean for Research, Professor at the Department of Global Health, and the Director of the Center on Commercial Determinants of Health at George Washington University. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody has already been motivated and excited and activated by these amazing performances. I've been in the field for nearly as long as Etienne has, maybe actually a year or two more than Etienne, but I learned an incredible amount in these past few minutes. The notion of acknowledgement, of acknowledging people, their perceptions, their lived experiences, is incredibly important. So ladies and gentlemen, let's start by acknowledging those whom we have lost as a result of road safety. Over 1 million a year, over 10 billion in the past 10 years. Day before yesterday, as many of you know, I'm originally from Pakistan and went to a medical school there. A 23-year-old medical student, day before yesterday, passed away, Ataullah Khatak, in a motorcycle crash in the city where I was born in Karachi. I saw that as I landed here in New York City, and I knew that this means the work is not done. None of our work is done. And it is incredibly important to understand that no matter what successes we may have had in the past, the future is yet to come. So welcome to this event. I'm so honored on behalf of the supervisory board of yours to be a stakeholder, and I am absolutely excited at the panel that we have for you today. First, an apology to the panelists. I'm not going to read the 1.5 page bios for each one of you, so I apologize in advance. We're going to run through this. We're also trying to make this a little bit more informal. And so, first of all, I want to welcome an incredible youth leader, Yasmin. Yasmin Al-Maghrabi from Lebanon. Yasmin's doing a PhD right here in the United States. She already has 2 master's degrees. She's a change maker. She has a website and an Instagram on road safety and many, many more things to her credit. Let me next welcome His Excellency Arias Lukwago, Lord Mayor of Kampala City of Uganda. Mr. Arias is a lawyer first, then went into politics, second time mayor, strong supporter of road safety, and indeed, I hope to hear more about what he is doing in a few minutes. Welcome. Next, I'd like to welcome His Excellency Angel Salvador Tejeda, Vice Minister of Planning and Regulation, Ministry of Public Works, Dominican Republic. Mr. Tejeda is a young leader. I told him that I'm so honored to meet somebody who in their 30s has gained the political and technical recognition that many do in their 50s. Welcome to you. And the next welcome to a name well known in road safety actually, Simon Obi, a leader from Nigeria. Executive Director of Green Light Initiative. You'll see him on Twitter, you'll see him on Instagram. You've already seen him engaged in many, many youth events. Welcome, Simon. Always good to be with you. Ladies and gentlemen, our session today is really to explore the how. How can we engage youth in road safety? And therefore, this intergenerational dialogue. I may be, by the way, at the one end of the spectrum of the generational dialogue, and Yasmin and Simon represent the other end, I'm sure. But this is where we would like to begin. So what I'm going to request each one of you is to provide a 2-minute, and I'm going to hold you to 2 minutes, please. An opening statement, some initial reflection about this notion of youth engagement in road safety from your perspective. Yasmin, why don't we start with you?
We have always heard that the youth of today are the future of tomorrow. But what would the future look like if it were built in today's youth? At the moment, we are discussing the meaningful youth participation in road safety. How many young people have lost in road crashes? Without knowing the youth needs, without asking us to be part of the solution, without engaging us in decisions, without hearing our voice, youth voice, how it's possible to promote youth safety. Today, we are calling for co-leadership of youth, as stated in the Global Plan for the second decade of action of road safety. Today, we are missing action. We are seeing a lot of commitments. Today, if you are not including the population that's most affected as systematic mechanism, we will have multiple decades of action. The first question that comes to mind is, are young people ready for this fruitful step? Yes, we have already started. I participated in a competition to implement a real project to improve safety and mobility in a road in North Lebanon. I have never been to this area before this project. My team and I were the only youth team, but we did it. We get the highest grade for design and safety. Do you know how and why? As a young person, we are on the grounds, and other professional decision makers are in the office. I designed the road based on the difficulties of being a woman, children, elderly in the traffic, not having access to safe and good quality transportation, not being able to count on infrastructure compatible with mobility impairment, and so much more. My voice is youth voice. So, what are you still waiting for? Thank you.
Thank you, Yasmin. Yasmin is very clear. She said, yes, we are ready. We will come back to that point in a second. Mayor Arez, from a Kampala perspective, youth engagement, initial thoughts, please.
Well, I look at this youth, like, an adolescent who is 15 years old, grabs his parents' vehicle, is not well skilled in driving, causes crash, and then somehow gets injured. And we get, as authorities, get to arrest him, prosecute him, and have him jailed. Have we solved the problem? That's why I get this message loud and clear. Stop blaming us, engage us. The records show majority of the victims fall within that bracket. 15 to 29 years, they are youth. And so are the perpetrators. Actually, most of the perpetrators of these crashes are youth. So the more reason we need to engage them, the more reason we must involve them in all these processes. As Kampala Capital City Authority, the body that is charged with the management and administration of the city of Kampala, which I split over as the Lord Mayor, we came up with our own strategy based on the second global action for road safety. That strategy is anchored on two major pillars. One, adopting a safe approach system, which is aligned to the vision and the ideals of the UN Declaration. Safe systems approach, instead of shifting the blame to the victims. Because this youth is a victim in both ways. The irresponsible behavior of the parents who have allowed him access the vehicle, and also the reckless driving. But should we condemn that youth? No. That's why for us, we do not employ so much the penal system, the penal sanctions, and emphasize more the safe approach system where we take the responsibility as policymakers and involve the youth. Two, behavior change. Youth are involved in a high-risk behavior. Because of their age, of course, it's a very active age. They go out dancing at night, they drink recklessly, they're involved, they are drug addicts, they are what? They are distracted by so many things. They want to drive as they are checking on their Snapchat, checking on social media, and so on. That risky behavior, how do we deal with it? So that's why in our strategy, we want to emphasize awareness, education. We want to influence behavior change. And these are some of the key pillars. I just want to show you this. This is our strategy, the Kampala Capital City Strategy 2021. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lord Mayor. And we will come back to Lord Mayor's point about risky behaviors in a couple of minutes. Your Excellency, you have been a youth leader and now a Vice Minister. Your perspectives on youth engagement.
Well, I would like to give the government perspective from a young government official. For our country, this situation is one of the top urgent matters to attend. We are working in three different directions. The first one is rebuilding our road systems, using the IRAP to verify the quality and the safety of our roads that qualifies it in stars. We are starting a huge campaign of investment in the infrastructure, trying to get more stars and bring more safety to our structures. This is a short-term solution, but also there are more pilots, like the communications. We are engaging a huge campaign on the communication about the security awareness for young male people who use motorcycles, which is according to the statistics, this is the critic segment of the population. Young male using a motorcycle from 15 to 35 years is the most common case in our country. Then we also are working with the education. We are using so many strategies from the infants, building safety awareness parks where they can play and learn how to use the traffic signs. Then we are also including in the educational system the subject of veil education and safety road educations, so that the future generations will come up with the knowledge that the actual generation doesn't have. And the last one, the regulation. We started the first national license plate regulation for motorcycles, so we can know how many motorcycles we have and make sure they have their helmet on. These are just small but firm and strong steps into the solutions. But there is so much work that we have to, in order to keep and achieve the goal of reduce to the 50% of death into the next decade. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we will certainly touch base upon the evidence behind the interventions that you just elaborated upon. Simon, you're a youth leader with lots of years of experience. What are your perspectives on this topic?
Thank you so very much. I would like to begin my intervention from sharing a personal experience. I started this road safety journey since 2015. And what we have seen over the years is that we attend conferences where we speak, big speeches, and then big commitment, but at the end of the day, we don't see results. And we have worked with a couple of young people and policy makers and decision makers, and I will tell you the three things that we, over the years, keep hearing from them. And one of the things they keep telling us is that it is youth fault that we have crashes, that it is the leading cause of death among them. It is their fault because young people are reckless, because young people are inexperienced, and because young people want to try new things. And then the second thing they would also mention is that we would educate young people. And once we educate them, we will get results. And then the third thing is we would enforce the law. Once we enforce the law, we will get results. But I tell you what, since 2015, instead of the death or fatality rate reducing, what we have seen is exponential increase in fatality. So it simply means it doesn't work. It is high time we need to shift from the new normal and begin to do something. And we have so many propositions, we have so many ideas that we often share. And one of it is, before I get to that, we tell them that crime is creative. That even if you enforce the law, people find new way to cut corner. That is the human nature. You can't take that from human beings. And so the answer is not enforcement. The answer is not education. The answer is not about youth thoughts. I am not saying this is not part of the solution, but the biggest solution is start engaging young people. I mean, we need to make young people involved in all the decision-making process. And we can't be too busy designing policies for problems that concern young people without involving them. Once we begin to do that, we can get results. Because to them, they don't understand why you're doing that. So it's time for us to start engaging young people. Not just to educate them, not just to enforce the law, but also for them to be part of the co-creating process. Once we begin to do this, we will get results. And I will end this intervention with sharing one of the comments we received just recently on the 25th of this month. So we had a program, a local action program in Nigeria, we engage youth leaders who are under the aegis of the Young African Leaders Initiative. We engage them on road safety. This program is supported by YOS in Nigeria. And this is one of the messages I received from one of the youth leaders. He said, he sent this personally to me. He said, I am planning to go out to schools, to some schools, to create awareness on the role of schools in ensuring road safety awareness. This is based on the event of Saturday. We need to take action, but obviously, I can't do this without Green Light. Green Light is our organization. Note this, he said, obviously, he can't do this without Green Light. We can't do this without the government. We can't do this without the policymaker involving us. We would achieve more if we involve young people. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. So, we've got little time remaining, so let's lose our formality. Let's forget about the fact that you are answerable. But Lord Mayor, I didn't hear from you, how do you engage youth? Because even when you talked about it, I heard you said youth will be reckless, youth will be perpetrators. And I think Simon is saying the exact opposite. Simon is saying, that's what you tell us, and you have been saying since 2015.
Yeah.
So please, let's hear something different from you, Lord Mayor, for the next few years. What's your plan in Kampala?
Well, Simon needs to appreciate this. Whether
I do.
Criminally reliable or not, you remain a perpetrator. You know, I'm sorry to speak like a lawyer. Traffic offenses are in the cluster of strict liability offenses. In the law, if you were to be held liable in these other crimes, you must be harboring what we call that evil mind, the mens rea. But I doubt if there is anyone who goes on the road with that evil mind to cause a crash. And it happens because there are a few things here and there which didn't go well with the way you managed yourself or the systems in place we have. So that's why we should focus the attention. And that brings me to your question. What we are doing as the institution. I said in adopting the safe system approach, we are trying to assume the responsibility as policymakers. That because this youth has done ABCD, I should be held responsible. We do some introspection of sorts and say, what did we fail to do as policymakers, as government, as subnational government? For example, when it comes to fixing the mass transport system, I'll tell you, it's a crisis in our country, in Kampala. For example, if you ask me what is the predominant mode of transport in Kampala, I'll tell you border. I want you for the first time to learn the word border. Border in Simon's country in Nigeria, they call it Okada. Okada is a motorcycle. So if you came to Kampala, I know you have been to Kampala, if you want to move from point A to point B, there are no bus stations, there are no railway stations. What you'll find are motorcycles. And there are so many, over 200,000 in Kampala, roaming all over. If you were in Kampala, they would be all over. They would be all over. And from the report we conducted, 45% of the crashes are border.
Yes.
And that is a failure on our part. Sure. You can't blame it on youth. So we are trying to show the responsibility and say, how do we fix this?
Great. Wonderful.
Let me conclude this. The very last one. Yes, I'm just concluding the very last one. The other aspect is about behavior change. Right. We are trying to cluster them, educate them, ensure that we sensitize them, we do advocacy and so on and so forth through the associations. Basically, that's what we are doing. But we're very, very grateful to Bloomberg Philanthropies Initiative for Global Safety because they have really spearheaded this. They have funded us, despite the fact that it's our responsibility. I thank you very much.
Wonderful, thank you. Yasmin, in Dominican Republic, they have play areas where people experiment, kids experiment with road safety, and the Vice Minister said they will educate people too. Is education what youth want, or is it something different? Talk to our Vice Minister.
education is very crucial to improve road safety for youth, children, and for every road user. But it's not enough to blame us. It's not enough to implement a project without understanding the driver and pedestrian behavior. Meaningful youth participation means that young people's idea, creativity, experience are systematically integrated into decision-making institution, policy, into programming. Young people are not passive agents. We should learn from the experience of youth. We should learn from the experience of these children when they are on the road. We need to know the real risk of youth and children that are facing every day in order to make appropriate measures to protect everyone, every pedestrian, every driver, and also every passenger.
Well said. Well said, Yasmin. Minister, why don't you respond? Yes, please.
We are very aware that we have to involve everyone into this communication. It's a thing of building awareness. It's like the artist said at the end, if you don't listen, you won't make consciousness about it. That's why as a government officials we have plans, but also there is a component that you have to involve people in it. As a politician also, when you are starting a campaign, you also have to build consciousness about any subject that is an interest of the citizens. So you start a campaign visiting people and raise the awareness about the subject. We have experience in that in situations like this. For example, when the COVID-19 started, most cases happened because the young people wasn't aware about the danger that is affecting this. And then it happened that old people who has the awareness rise started to vaccinate it first. And then the most case of that was the young people. They were aware about it. So the same thing is happening here. If we don't raise the awareness on young people about driving safety, don't drink and drive, don't start races, then that's maybe will help to reduce the death due to transit and road safety.
Thank you. Simon, you have 1 minute to tell me if you've heard anything different today than 2015. And are you hopeful or so-so or really depressed? Tell me.
In all honesty, it's still the same thing. Yeah, but I would like to appeal that we begin to take different approaches to solve this problem. We are losing our valuables. Young people make up the greater population, especially in low and middle income countries where I come from. And if we continue with the same style, with the old model, then we'll keep getting the same result. And the numbers of fatality will keep increasing. Yeah. So please, I would appeal to decision maker, especially our very own colleagues that are here with us, to begin to take some different approaches, engage these young people. And I will tell you, I would also share a personal experience. We do a lot of road safety program in Nigeria. And one of the things I fear, or I feel when approaching this decision maker, is that they feel we are coming to take their position or take their job. But that is not the truth. We're there to help you. We're there to support you to solve our problem.
Thank you. Thank you, Simon. So, Vice Minister Tejeda and Lord Mayor Arrayas, I don't want you to feel that this conversation was only for you. Yasmin and Simon and previously our artists are speaking to all of us. Whether we are in governmental decision-making, non-governmental organizations, academics like myself, what they're saying us is don't publish that strategy from Kampala. First talk to us, include us, make sure we are included, and you may have done that, Lord Mayor. But to make sure that they are part of the solution, that they are part of the dialogue. Because in fact, what Simon says, evidence bears out. Last 30 seconds, yesterday, The Lancet, one of the most eminent journals in the field of public health and medicine, published 3 papers. By way of disclosure, I'm an author. And the numbers that we've put out, Simon, are still the same as 10 years ago. So you're right. But the potential for change is huge. Just by addressing 3 or 4 risk factors, more than 500,000 people can be saved. The question is, mayors, ministers, policymakers is, are we going to truly listen to the youth of today? Or are we just going to say to them, thank you, but continue our work? The question is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that fruitful intergenerational dialogue. This is exactly what we're looking for. I mean, it was so short, but the nuggets and the amount of information that was shared is really powerful, and I think that we can move forward with a lot of great information. So road safety and youth civic engagements are human rights, and we know that youth creativity and impetus will add value to the design and implementation of innovative youth policies and programs at all levels, articulating meaningfully to promote a new development path towards implementing the 2030 Agenda. Again, I'd like to invite to the stage Executive Director of Youth for Road Safety and Visionary Leader of Engaging Youth in Road Safety, Flora Lachelle, to share some special news.
Hi everybody, good afternoon. My name is Flora, apparently a visionary leader, so you better pay attention. No, basically what I would like to say today is, first of all, Jacob, you're doing an amazing job. Thank you so much. MC, well done. So far, we're not there yet, but really well done. So today I want to talk to you about, well, let me ask you a question first. Are you convinced yet that we need to engage young people in a meaningful way? Show of hands? Yeah? All right, very good, very good. So now we're convinced. Now, I've been talking about this for pretty much 10, 12 years. Etienne knows this, and Etienne knows this. They've been around, and Anthony knows this as well. And now, what is so surprising to me is that now older people are saying to me, we need to engage young people. So decision makers are talking about this, and I feel like we got momentum going. But you know what the next question is that I hear? How? What is meaningful youth engagement? And how are we going to do this? And I'm going to tell you, it's not easy, but it's worthwhile. So we are going to help you with the how, because yours is developing a Policymakers Toolkit that will explain to you, is a step-by-step guide that will guide you through how we can meaningfully engage young people. You're not alone on this. We want to work with you. So let me start with a definition: meaningful youth participation. What does this mean? Because you know, some people ask, well, okay, meaningful youth participation. What do you actually mean by that? What we mean by this is we found this. It's our definition. It's not the definition, but it's our definition. Meaningful youth participation means that young people's experiences, ideas, expertise, and perspectives are systematically, not a one-off thing, systematically integrated into programmatic policy and decision-making institutions. That is what we feel meaningful youth participation is a continuous process that we need to be aware of. And during the toolkit, or in the toolkit, we're going to ask you for 3 things. The first thing is that what we need to understand is that we need to change our mindset of how we perceive young people. Are we perceiving them only as these horrible young men on dangerous boda drivers driving around and killing themselves? Or are we perceiving them as change agents, as assets, as people who can be part of the solution, who could energize this road safety revolution, who could be your partners in combating this crisis? That's the mindset. That's how you perceive young people. And of course, young males can do, I mean, I've been a young man myself. I've done some pretty stupid stuff as well. But you know what? We need to protect them. Don't blame them. Protect them with a safe mobility system. And when we have a safe mobility system, why don't we design that with them instead of for them? And that is what meaningful youth participation is about. So the first step, mindset. And I hope that today we changed your mindset, and I hope that you will be the early adopters of meaningful youth participation, and that you will spread the word, and that we need to change the mindset of how we perceive young people. The second thing is that we need to change our way of working. It's going to be tough. It's not easy to include young people in every step of the way. It's easier to invite them one-off thing, let them sign, and then put them out of the room and do the decision making yourself. It's probably faster, but it's not going to make more impact. So, what I ask you today is, let's look at these things, change the mindset, change our way of working, how we engage with young people. And the third thing is commitment. So, how far are we prepared to go? How will you include the contributions of young people, and how will you continue to follow up? How committed are you to maintaining and investing in ongoing participatory approaches and the outcomes? The young people we see today, they got a fantastic education, they got access, they have resources, and they participate through formal participation spaces, if you like. But what about all these young people who don't have access to all of that? We need to create informal spaces as well, how we can work with these young people on the ground. And I think that's where we have a lot of ground to gain. So our toolkit, which will be launched hopefully next week, we're gonna, if you're interested, we really want to work with you. I want to thank also the FVA Foundation for supporting us. They're our advocacy partner, and they're a massive supporter of all our work, and also in development of the toolkit. I would also like to thank Rebecca Ashton and Robin Mansfield for leading on developing the toolkit. So what we will find in the toolkit is basically a model for meaningful youth participation. It will include a roadmap to develop meaningful youth participation. It will have a self-assessment a scorecard, and it will have many case studies in road safety, but also in other health issues that can inspire us on all the steps that we can take. I'm going to leave it with that, but I really want to work with you. We all want to work with you. Drop by at the art exhibition, and we can keep you updated. Thank you so much for everything so far, and back to Jacob.
Thank you so much. So with that, we count on each of you to support endorsing this toolkit and developing a systematic, meaningful, inclusive youth engagement. But this has been a fruitful discussion, from the dialogues to the artistic expression. And so now I'd like to hear from Avi Silverman, Deputy Director of FIA Foundation, to summarize this important event and share some remarks.
Thank you very much. I'll keep it brief. I was disappointed I didn't get rock star or visionary. I sort of must be something out there. I know I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm very much more middle-aged white male, assuming that I'm going to live to the age of about 90, which is hopefully what's going to happen. And seriously speaking, we've just come from the General Assembly Hall upstairs, where speaker after speaker, with a few exceptions, were middle-aged white males, and really what that indicates to me is that we're doing something wrong here. And what we've seen just now in today's session was a real example of a way forward. I want to start by paying a little very quick tribute to Vice Minister Angel, and also the Mayor of Kampala, for very bravely standing up there. The work that they are actually taking forward in their jurisdictions is very progressive. It's very progressive work, and are real strong examples. There should perhaps be some other culprits, more middle-aged white males from speaking in the General Assembly Hall, that we would have done better to have hauled down here and got in front of Simon and also Yasmin. And Simon and Yasmin
really should be the people that are taking this agenda forward. They should be the ones that are on the platforms. They should be in much more decision-making roles. Simon very humbly said that he's not looking to take on the jobs of the ministers, but actually perhaps Simon, I would think, should be taking on the roles of ministers, or at the very least should be entirely engaged in the policy making. And that's what we really need to see in the years ahead if we're actually going to make any progress on this issue, is full and meaningful engagement in policy making of young people. Road safety is an area that can really be a trailblazer in all of this. One area though that I just very quickly would say that has to be addressed, and this is a much wider issue than just road safety, is the fear. And I know the speakers touched on this earlier, the fear of young people, the kind of need to present them as the culprits. And there's a fear of young people, there's a huge demographic explosion already going on, youth populations in low and middle income countries, and policymakers are running scared of them. And this needs to be hugely addressed, and in road safety is kind of at the sharp end of all of this. We're seeing that here, so it's something that needs to be very carefully looked at in the years ahead, and it's something that road safety can make a great contribution. So let's start with actually thinking about how policymakers can be educated and how policymakers can better listen to young people. Congratulations to Youth for Road Safety. We're delighted to be involved in the toolkit for policymakers and in all of your initiatives going ahead, and we're looking forward to the next few months and years of really making a difference going towards the Sustainable Development Goals on road safety. So thank you very much.
So I will say, we do have a rock star, but if you're in this room, you're a rock star. If you're in this room, you're a rock star. So wanted to share that. But we're now at the end of our time together, and it's been a true pleasure to be your master of ceremony, witnessing the incredible artistic expressions, hearing from young people during the intergenerational dialogue, and coming together to make a commitment to meaningfully engaging young people. So we will have a closing performance by poet and rapper. Before we invite them, will you please visit our global art exhibition in front of the Vienna Cafe and leave your pledge to the young people on how you're going to work with them, with meaningfully engaging them in our journey to halving road traffic crashes. Thank you.
I'd like to have all of the performers and speakers that were here today for the youth and Wepa. Hey. We are clear like intention, it's our time to speak, like rules of the bicycle, we move our feet. I walk then you walk, we walk down the street. I talk then you talk, a road safe for me. We're clear like intentions, it's our time to speak, like wheels of a bicycle, we move our feet. I walk then you walk, we walk down the street. I talk then you talk, a road safe for me. Can we have a say? If you say yes, then see. I'm open to roads that are open for me. And I want to be aligned with you when it comes to road safety. Really figure out what it is we're going to do. We would like to have a say. The youth and the power we use every day, it might sway you to protect all that are at play, like pedestrians or motorcyclists that ride every day. I was on my way to the market today, but to get there I had to dodge many cars coming my way. I happened to help a young blind man across the street, also on his way to the market for something to eat. On my way to my friend's house, a car sped on by, a bicycle stationed on dirt roads we ride. Together we are the world lifting itself up to the universe, driving through each continent, heading to the moon. No tenemos familia ahí, pero we know we belong in a world where the stars align for our future. Roads to riches. We're all up for the fight, so hop in while we drive up to the fight. We can all unite for this cause, road safety, to connect the world and heal our flaws. We are one human race on this beautiful blue ball hurtling through space. We're never stagnant, and we don't want our future to be. Let us sit down next to you so we can draft this policy. Cause we want a good life. Anybody want to sing with me? We want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we can make a deal. Hey, maybe together we can get somewhere. I want a good life. I want a ticket to anywhere. Almost died. We'll go somebody. Maybe together we can get somewhere. We want a good life. We want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we can make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere.